Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ajeng. Today I'm going to discuss or share about noun clause and adjective clause. Now let's take a look at the PowerPoint. Okay, I'm making this video as the assignment of grammar class in UT second semester. Okay, let's see what is a noun clause. Noun clause is a subordinate clause that serves a nominal function. Noun clause has the same function as noun. A noun clause is part of a main clause. It is dependent clause. Noun clause is also part of a complex or compound complex sentence. So we can conclude that noun clause is dependent, and then the most important thing that noun clause have the same function as noun. Let's take a look at this example. Okay, the nominal categories of noun clause can be declarative sentence, interrogative, exclamative, to infinitive, in participle, bare infinitive, or passive participle. Okay, I give you the example of those clause. Okay, noun clause in declarative sentence. For example, I know that Annie is smart. So the noun clause is that Annie is smart, and the main clause is I know that Annie is smart. So I describe it like this. The sentence I know you can make sentence I know you. You is a pronoun. So why we call that this is a noun clause? Because it is function also like a noun. You can replace you noun by that any is part. So it is the same as noun, but it is in terms of a sentence, more or less like that. And then another example of interrogative, subordinate clause. For example, I don't know why you are laughing. The noun clause is why you are laughing. Okay, let's see it over here. Why you are laughing. That's the noun clause. Actually, the noun clause comes from the interrogative question, why are you laughing? But in this case, the sentence is not the same as interrogative sentence, because this is a noun clause. So the subject comes before the predicator. Usually, interrogative question, the predicator comes before the subject, but in this noun clause, the interrogative subordinate clause, is the syntactical. So, but in interrogative subordinate clause, the subject comes before the predicator. So this is the example of interrogative sentence using WH question. The second is the example of interrogative subordinate clause, which is using yes or no questions. So in this sentence, I wonder if or whether my dream will come true. The subordinator is if or whether. It's not like it's not using W8 question, because uh, the question asking yes or no answer. Okay, next exclamative. As you see, as you know that exclamative means complement to something. So, for example, in this sentence, I remember what a wonderful time I had at your party. What a wonderful time is the exclamative sentence. What in this case is not a question, it is exclamative. So the noun clause is what a wonderful time I had at your party. Okay, next to infinitive clause. The example of to infinitive clause, noun clause using to infinitive. For example, it is nice to see you. Okay. Next is noun clause using to infinitive. To infinitive clause. For example, it is nice to see you here. The clause is to see you. The noun clause is to see you here using to infinitive. If I will remind you again that noun clause have the same function as noun. So when we make a sentence, it is nice. Cold, for example, cold is noun. So this is in this sentence, it is nice. What is nice? To see you here, it's nice. So or for example, it is nice coat. What is nice? The coat is nice. So coat and to see you here has the same function as noun, but different. The way it deliver it different, because in this case it's not a word but it is a clause or a sentence. Okay, then in participle clause, for example, cleaning my own room makes me happy. Cleaning my room is the noun clause using in participle. Next, bare infinitive clauses. For example, I see my son do his homework alone. So for to infinitive, in participle and bare infinitive and also passive participle, they are not using subordinate. You see, the noun clause directly use to infinitive. For example, it is nice to see you here. And then in participle, using verb ing, cleaning my own room. So there is no subordinate. And also bare infinitive, I see my son do his homework alone. Also no subordinator, but do his homework alone is a noun clause of the sentence. Okay, passive participle clauses, for example, I want my dress done in a week. So done in a week is the passive participle, noun clause using passive participle. Okay, this is some nominal categories of noun clause. Okay, so each of categories can be syntactically can be function as subject, direct object, as object, subject, objects, subject complement, adjective phrase, a positive or noun phrase. Not all of them have the same syntactical function, but I will give you some example of declarative subordinate clause uh, in syntactical function. Okay, for example, noun clause uh, as a subject. The sentence, the example sentence is that the museum canceled the lecture. Disappoint me. That the museum canceled the lecture is the subject of the sentence, and it is noun clause. So it is noun clause as a subject. Example of noun clause as a subject. Okay, next, noun clause as object. For example, he said that he was excited. Excited. The noun clause is that he was excited. Uh, is the object of the sentence. In this case, this is a direct object. So another example is subject complement. For example, the problem is that you never think before you speak. Okay, the noun clause that you never think before you speak uh, is the subject complement of the sentence. Uh, and then adjective phrase complement. For example, I am pleased that you are studying noun clause. So this is that you are studying noun clause is the complement of the adjective please. And then a positive, for example, the problem that the storm knocked out power is affecting the entire town. The noun clause is that the storm knocked out power. In this sentence, this clause can be the appositive. And the last, noun phrase complement. For example, the claim that the earth is flat was once considered true. So the clause that the earth is flat is the complement of a noun phrase, the claim. Okay, next continue to adjective clause. As I said before, that noun clause has almost the same function as a noun. Adjective clause also the same. So adjective clause also uh, functions like an adjective. Adjective clause is part of a noun phrase, and the function are restrictive to noun phrase post modifier. This is some example sentence using adjective clause. So in adjective clause, there are relative pronoun that usually use as a conjunction, and also sometimes also can function as the subject. Uh, the relative pronouns. Some of relative pronouns that usually used in adjective clause are who, whom, which, whose, and etc. Okay. This I'm going to actually adjective will divide into finite and infinite adjective clause. So this is the table of finite adjective clause. In terms of semantic, adjective clause divided into restrictive and non-restrictive. Uh, non-restrictive, it's like a proper noun, and restrictive is subject is it's not we can make we don't know the I mean restrictive means restrictive can be personal and non-personal, and also non-restrictive can be personal and non-personal. We can relate it non-restricted to proper noun. Okay, let's see the first example. Restrictive personal as a subject. Adjective clause, for example, driver who exceed the speed limit are reckless. The adjective clause here is who exceed the speed limit. You can say that who exceed the speed limits modify the driver. Okay, another example of restrictive personal as object. For example, that's the teacher whom most students admire. So usually, if the adjective clause modify an object, so we use relative pronoun whom, and who usually use if the relative pronoun who usually use when the adjective clause modify uh, the subject. Okay, and while which usually use as the relative pronoun to something uh, or anything, but it is not a person or personal. So let's continue to uh, the example of restrictive personal in professional complement. For example, I met the girl with whom I used to work. So the adjective clause whom I used to work, it is come after professional with. And the last, this is the example of restrictive personal for determinative possessive. For example, India grants divorce to a man whose wife won't live with in-laws. So the relative pronoun for modify uh, possessive, someone's possessive or something that someone possess, using whose uh, as the relative pronoun. Okay, you can see other example of each adjective clause in this table. The green one is the adjective clause of the sentence. So we can see that adjective clause comes after the noun that it's modified. So okay, I hope you get something from my explanation. Okay, next. This is the example of non-finite adjective clause. For example, adjectival in participle, subordinate clause. The example sentence is the girl sitting in the corner is my sister. So there are no conjunction or relative pronoun used in this sentence. After the subject or the noun that is going to modify the sentence directly using adjectival in participle, the girl sitting. Okay, next example, adjectival passive participle subordinate clause. For example, the book written by Asep will be published soon. So the written by Asep is participle subordinate clause. Adjective clause using adjectival participle, passive participle. Okay, now adjectival to infinitive clause. For example, you are the one to spend my life with. Okay, the adjective clause is to spend my life with. They are using to infinitive clause. It's using to infinitive clause. And the last non-restrictive modification by non-finite clause. For example, the 2018 FIFA World Cup to be held in Russia will involve 32 national teams. So, to be held in Russia is the adjective clause. Modify the 2018 FIFA World Cup. In this case, the noun is non-restrictive. Okay, that's all my explanation about noun clause and adjective clause. I have some reference here that I use in constructing the PowerPoint. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.